and we discussed about that. And now after understanding all this in the development process, we have learned the options HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, so SAS, and we learned about JavaScript and how we can deal with jQuery. So after understanding this, now we need to learn about the configuration of backend, how we can use the backend. So that in the backend, we will learn about database, we will learn about middleware, middleware, we will learn about server-side technologies, and we will learn about how do we create APIs. And APIs, or we can call them as services. And these services we can consume in the front end with jQuery, Angular, React-like technologies. So once we are dealing with the front end, so you have learned up to now how we can handle all the user interfaces. Now we are going to deal with the backend, how we can deal with the backend, how we can interact with the backend. So once we are good with the backend, with the database, middleware, and all server-side options here, right? Technically, right? Right. So once we are ready with the backend also, now we can consume and we can interact with this in the front end by using jQuery, React, or Angular like technologies. We can manage them, right? We have to understand how to deal. So how we can create database, what is configuration of middleware and server-side technologies and all, right? Let's see. So technically working with databases, we are going to learn about MongoDB. MongoDB is the database we will see. In the middleware, we are going to discuss about Express as a middleware. And server side, we are going to learn Node.js. And through that, we are going to create the web API and services, web API and web services, right? So technically, the backend comprises of all these options. The database and middleware server-side technologies, we are going to deal with them. So let's see how we can manage these in the backend so that we can consume them in the front end. So by using the APIs, we can consume and we can handle them, right, technically. Whenever the situation comes, you will learn React. I don't know why you are very much excited about that. Are you going to continue our session or after React you are going to simply drop all you people? You are here for full stack development or only React? You are here for full stack development or only React? After learning React, you will go out. Already I told you so many times now, right? Whenever situation comes and whenever the concept comes, you will learn. You people are not perfect even in HTML perfectly in practicing, in submitting the tasks. Once we start HTML, you will ask when JavaScript will start. When JavaScript start, you will ask when jQuery will start. When jQuery start, you will ask when React will start. So you you don't be very foolish every time. I don't need to tell this every time to you all. Okay, na? I hope you all are clear with this. Don't be silly in this every time. Don't get with this kind of questions every day, right? You just follow and you will learn whatever is there in the concepts. I don't know why you people are so much sick in your mind. Nah. Nah. You people just creating a nonsense in this class. When React will start, when React will start, when React will start. When it has to start, it will start. If you are here for the React, so then come on that React sessions and get out, right? Don't do any nonsense here regularly. When we start jQuery, you will JavaScript, you say when you will start jQuery. When we start HTML, you say when you will start JavaScript. You don't do any tasks. You never submit the tasks. Just a time waste here, right? Just you want to finish the course. Right? We know when to start and we will tell when to start. When it starts, you continue. If you are in a hurry, contact admin. He will suggest you some batches where you can learn only React and get out. Don't come to my sessions. Yeah. Right. Let's continue. Right. So when we are dealing with the front-end development, we finished everything up to this front-end. Now we will see back-end. And once you deal with the back-end, then we can learn how to consume them in the front-end again. So that means with jQuery, with React, with Angular like technologies in the front-end, how we can consume them and how we can handle them. So first, now we are going to discuss. So we are going to discuss how we can manage and work with the database. So today we are going to start working with the backend technologies. We are going to deal with database server-side technologies. Actually, technically, application needs data. Generally, application needs data to store and use for later. That is in a general concept. Application needs data to store and use for later. Actually, data can be stored. Data can be stored in a file. Data can be stored in a file. We can create a file. In the file, we can store data. Then the question is, why we need a database? If data can be stored in a file, why we need a database? If I want to store some data, I can store data in a file. I can store the data in a file. So then what is the necessity of database? That means application needs to store data. How it needs to store data, I will tell you. I will discuss this point here. Actually, whenever we are developing application, so while designing application, so as per the business requirements, so we prepare as for the business requirements, we prepare. One is conceptual model. We prepare physical model. We prepare logical model. and we prepare entity model. So you are developing an application. When you are developing an application, so I will tell you the importance and the situation here. When you are developing an application, generally, what happens is, usually, I will tell you, suppose, let's take an example. That means, let's take a simple example of some college. Let's create just a rough example I am showing here. That means we are building application. So for any requirement. So that means suppose we are building application for, we are building application for some college. And or we are building an application for a bank or something. When we are building application, usually the basic approach is first step. What happens is our developers, we have a college application. Yeah, college application. In this college application, first what we do is our developers identify so the modules that needs data. Suppose in a college application, we have some modules like the modules like students, so faculty, some courses, some register, some login. So there will be so many other options also. So that means these are the modules. These are the modules of our project. We need to build an application with some modules. Now, first step, what happens is, according to the requirement of the client, requirement, our developers will create a conceptual model. First, they will create a conceptual model. Conceptual model means, conceptual model is nothing but they will identify which modules require data. That means out of all these modules, which modules require data. That is prepared in the conceptual model. That means in the conceptual model, they will design the modules that require data. That means, now can you tell me, out of these modules, which modules needs data? Can you tell me out of these modules, which module needs data? Which modules needs data? What are the modules? Which module needs data? Students, faculty, courses, and register. I think login doesn't require data because login uses the data that you have used while registering. Am I right? All others requires data. Login uses the data so that you have given while registering, right? While registering. That means students, faculties, courses, register, these modules needs data. Just rough example I am telling you. That means they will first identify the modules that needs data and prepare a design. That design is called conceptual model. We call this as conceptual model. Now, generally, a review team will be there. This review team, that means these are testing team. This review team will review your conceptual model. They will verify whatever modules you mentioned for data are genuinely required with the data source or database or not, data or not. They will first verify that. They will first verify that. If anything you mentioned and that is not necessary, that means you mentioned something and it is not necessary, then immediately they report saying that this module doesn't require data. If any module which is necessary and you haven't mentioned, they will say that you are missing with this. That means a review will happen and they will decide that the conceptual model that you have prepared is ready. That means it is as per the requirements. So this is final. That means they identified that whatever according to the client requirements are needed, you perfectly mentioned in this conceptual model. So conceptual model is ready. So once the conceptual model is ready, there are no problems. Generally, I will show you how a conceptual model looks like. I will show you how a conceptual model looks like actually. So a sample project related document I am showing you. So what is a conceptual model? Let me show you this document. So we have some documents here. So a conceptual model looks like this actually. This is the conceptual model. This is conceptual model. It looks like this. This is the conceptual model of a project, some XYZ project. That means in this model, our developers will identify the modules that needs data in the application. That is the first stage. So conceptual model is ready. That means it is certified and it is ready. Then our team will prepare another model. Our team will prepare another model. So that is after conceptual model, we will prepare a physical model. In the physical model, so first conceptual model, we identified students, we identified faculty, we identified courses like this. Now in physical model, we mention about for students what data need to be stored. That means for student, we need ID. It is what type? Number type. That means it's an integer. We need name. It is a string type. That means for every module, what data need to be stored is defined in physical model. For every module, what data need to be stored is defined in this physical model. That means the modules are decided in conceptual model and the fields in the module are decided in the physical model. Again, a review team will review this physical model. A review team will review this physical model. They will verify that you are not missing with any field. They will verify that you are not mismatching the data type. If any field is missing, any data type is mismatching, they will report. They say that for students, you don't need this field. For students, you need this field. They will verify everything. And if physical model is also certified, that means this is also ready. Physical model also ready. You can see physical model looks like this. This is a physical model. This is physical model. The physical model contains table name, field name, data types, and all the details about the data need to be stored for every module. This is called physical model. Conceptual model contains module names. Physical model contains the fields that are required for that module. For every module, what fields required? The table name, field name, data type. These are decided in physical model. And once the physical model is ready, then we prepare another model called logical model. We prepare logical model. So we prepare logical model. In the logical model, what happens is, in the logical model, so we will identify the relationship between the modules. That means, is there any relation between one module and another module? We identify the relationship between modules. We identify the relation. That means, is students module related to faculty? Is faculty module related to courses? Is courses related to students? We will identify the relationship between the modules. And the relationship is decided in logical model. After the physical model, we prepare the logical model. You can see a logical model looks like this. In logical model, we will have table name, we have a field names and relationship. Relationship, I will tell you in the database, foreign key, primary key relations. That means, is this table this table should have any relationship with another table or not. We decide the relationship between the tables. And very important, review team will review those relations. That means they verify that all the relations are correctly configured. There is no any relation. That means all tables and their relationships are correctly configured. And once they certify that this logical model also good. Good means it is according to client requirements. There is no problem. Then that means your conceptual model is ready. So your conceptual model is ready. Your physical model is ready. Your logical model is also ready. Now then finally, our developer will prepare an entity model. This entity model contains tables, and it contains the relations. Table name, field name, relationships, everything are defined in this entity model. And once this entity model is certified by our review team, now for this entity model, we prepare the database. That means a database developer will not directly prepare any database. They have to follow these stages. Before preparing the database, what is the reference for creating database? You will not simply create database. To create database, you need an entity model. That entity model tells what the application needs, what table it needs, what field it needs, what relations it needs. According to the entity model, we prepare the database. And entity model is derived from logical model. Logical model is derived from physical model. Physical model is derived from the conceptual model. So conceptual model tells the modules. Physical model tells the field names. And logical model defines the relationships. And all are mentioned in entity model. For this entity model, we prepare the database. So in real world development process, this is how we design a database. These are the stages for designing the database. Many people, they say that I know Oracle, I know MySQL, physical model, logical model. That is not a satisfying line. That means if you say that I know how to create a database, if anyone asks what is the reference for creating database, and you don't know about these database models, and you say I know database, that's like joke, not serious. Why? Because without knowing how to create these conceptual models, physical models, logical models, entity models, you cannot create a database for any application. In order to design database, you need to first come through this approach. I hope everyone understood these models. These are called database models. Everyone understood it? Right? So that means the conceptual models, the physical model, the logical model, and the entity model. That means finally, you can see the entity looks like this. Entity model looks like this. Entity model looks like this. That means it contains table name, field names, relationships, everything is defined inside this. According to this, we need to prepare data. So that means simply you will not design database. To design database, lot of approach is there. Any person who is learning database, first he should know how to design database. For designing database, what he needs, you cannot simply design a database with an imaginary concept. For everything, we need to follow certain standards and rules. And this is the basic approach for designing. This is the basic approach for design. So these are the basic database models: conceptual model, physical model, logical model, and entity model. Now tell me, what is a conceptual model? What is a conceptual model? Conceptual model comprises of modules. Modules that need data. Am I right? It comprises of modules that needs data. Right. Physical model contains the information about the fields. Am I right? So conceptual model will not contain the fields. Conceptual model contains only the module names. Understood? Field name data types are decided. Field names data types are decided in physical model. Field names and data types are decided in physical model. Right? Relationships are defined in logical model. Right? Relationships are defined in logical model. And all are configured in entity model. That's what generally people call ER diagram. Am I right? They generally call ER diagram. Right? Yes. So entity model, that is entity model. So we have to design for this entity model. So about maintaining data for his application, he should know all these different types of models. Now here the key point is you can store data. You can store data in a file. Then why you need database? Why you need database? That is the question. Actually, we can store data in a file. You can store data in a file. So from a file, you can access the data also. From a file, you can access the data also. Retrieval is difficult. Good. Easy to access. Okay. Security. File also have security, na? File also have security. Like you can put passwords so that file cannot open. Am I right? File also have security. Yeah. Actually, the main intention, files also can be accessed through cloud now, because Google Drive. In Google Drive, you have files you can access through the cloud. Google Drive is cloud only, na? In a file also, you can store more data. Actually, so all your answers are okay, good. But technically, what is the main necessity for preparing the data? Actually, you should tell the technical word for this. We need to data to handle relational. We need to handle data for relational data. Understood? Easy to store, easy to access, everything is okay. That means these are all okay. File is also easy. You can read, you can find, you can access any information. But here the main concept is relational. That means data can have good relation. You can manage the database through relations. Without relation also database can be there, right? But the main intention of maintaining data in database, all your points are good. All your points are correct only. I'm not saying wrong. But the first priority is relational. Understood? The first priority is relational. The first priority is relational. That means, so the first one is relational. Data is relational. Later you can tell so many things. And whatever you said easy. Whatever you said are correct only. You said querying will be easy, filtering will be easy, sorting will be easy. So actually you can do that easy. So by using database. But the main point is why the databases are used is majorly for handling relational data. Of course, without relations also data can be maintained, but the primary point is relational. So that is why we need a general database. That means technically, as you already know, database is a collection of data. And the main point is, so its intention is to maintain relational data. Of course, without relations also data can be there. The main option is this. Actually, not only that, the main advantage is relational. Analyze and report data. These are the primary things for database. Actually, these are the primary things for database. Maintaining relational data, analyzing the data, analyze the data, right? Analysis, right? We have to analyze the data, and we need to analyze the data, and we need to report the data. The main intention is relational analysis and reporting. So relational, I will tell you, in general, having relationship between the data. Analysis and reporting. Can you tell what is analysis and reporting? Analyze means, I will give you a simple point. Let me give you a simple point. Analyzing is nothing but The concept of analyzing is, suppose, so we have products, and suppose we take an example of a supermarket. Now in supermarket, so some products, so in supermarket, some products are out of stock. Now the manager of supermarket have to procure products. That means how much quantity of products he will procure. Procure means he will order. How much quantity of products he will order? Tell me. How much quantity of products he will order? For that, he need an analysis. Of how much sales happened for that particular product in previous days. Am I right? Am I right? That means designing an application is not so simple. You need lot of things inside that involved. So that is the reason it will take months, years of time to build an application. Large scale applications. So medium scale application also, it takes a year of time to build, some years of time to build an application. Because lot of things are considered into this. Generally people ask like, sir, by the end of the course, will you teach a live project? Yeah, right? Live project means, I will tell you about project. Live project means it is to be implemented by a client. Building a live project is not just 1 day, 2 day, 5 day, 10 day work. So it involves months of time to invest in designing all this. That means if anybody says that I learned one project on full stack, but I don't know what is a physical model, logical model, entity model, do you think, is it a correct statement? Right? He says that I don't know what is physical model, logical model, entity model, but I done a project on full stack. By the end of the course, my faculty has given a project to me. That's like joking what you are talking about. That means dealing with a project is not right. Designing and building and showing output. A project means it involves lot of things. Before you start the project, so lot of work you have to do. I hope majority of you know about that. Otherwise, I will later tell you the approach, how the applications are built. I will tell you the approach. But the point is, the main intention of database is not just to store data. Understood? Database is not just for storing the data. It is used for analyzing the data. Understood? It is used for analyzing the data. So analysis is very important. Relational is very important. Analysis is very much important. And analysis means what happens based on the previous sales of that particular product. He will procure the quantity of that particular product. An analysis is required. And what is reporting? After making the analysis, generating a document which is containing the complete information about the analysis it has made is called report. Understood? That means report will be usually in a PDF form. It will be in an XML form, Excel form. That means, for example, so you have report is something is provided as a soft copy or a hard copy. That means, for example, you are watching your bank statement. That means a bank statement. You said last month bank statement. It opened that bank statement. It comes under which category? Analysis or reporter? It comes under which category? It comes under report, not analysis. That means it generates an output. So for what you have done in previous, so output is generated, which you can watch on screen, which you can save as PDF, or we can save as Excel. Am I right? The output is report. The output is report. So that is the reason you see some websites like you see now Paytm, PhonePe, all these people have an option of showing you the spend analysis. Am I right? Spend analysis means how much you spent on different things. They have introduced such new things. You can see spend analysis. So the main intention of why we need data is generally, actually, database refers to a set of related data, a set of related data. So that means a related data that enables analysis and reporting, that enables analysis and reporting. Actually, the main intention of this is referring a set of related data that enables analysis and reporting. Now, files, if data is stored in a file, then handling this kind of relational data and analysis and reporting the data, that becomes complicated. That is what actually the problem with this actually. Now, do you know, I think, database is this now, the basic thing. Do you know now you can hear very much about data science? Data science, you know na? Data science. Can you tell me what is this data science now? Have you heard about data science? You heard about data science? Database, okay. What is this data science? What do you think? The data science, ever heard about this? You heard now, majority of people, you know that data science. So the data science, in one simple point I will tell you, one simple point I will tell you, what is this data science? One simple point I will tell you. So data science is, in simple one point, is prediction of data. Prediction of data. That is what actually prediction of data. That is the prediction of data. One simple point, that is prediction of data. That means it is more than analysis. It is more than analyzing. Earlier we have analysis tools also. Database. You might have heard about database is having business intelligence tools, BI tools. Have you heard of BI tools? Business intelligence tools. Have you heard about that? Actually, Oracle have like OBIEE, like MSBI. So these are business intelligence tools, BI. So many are there. SAP BI is also there. Business intelligence tools. Now, more than business intelligence tools, we have this data science. This is prediction of data. Prediction of data, the best example I will give you. So that means it has more advanced than this business intelligence tools. Prediction of data, one simple example I will tell you. Suppose a player, suppose a cricket match is going on. Best example I will tell you, a cricket match is going on. And a team is batting. And you will see that. So in the commentary, you will find that a complete prediction will be given. That means at this rate, if they bat with this particular rate, so by the end of this over, they must reach this. By the end of this, they must reach this. Am I right? Right? These are all data predictions. These are all data predictions. And this is all data science. This is all data science. So the best example of implementation of data science you will see in cricket. When a cricket match is going on, everything you see on screen as a graph, as a bar, everything, that is all data science. That means that is a simple example of data science. That means here we have data. So we have database, we have data analysis, data reporting, and all this is possible. All this is possible if data is in some location, so which enables all these facilities, enables all these facilities. That is what actually we call as database. Database. Lot of other things are also there. Lot of other things also there. So that means data can be stored anywhere. Even in real world examples, means when you are attending interviews now, in some interviews, they will say that in a notepad, I have some phone numbers. I have some phone numbers like this. Phone numbers are separated with some comma. Phone numbers are separated with some comma. They will say that now by using whatever you have learned, the skills, you have to read the phone numbers from this notepad file, and use these phone numbers for sending an SMS. That means you have to read the phone numbers from a notepad file and you have to present them. You have to present them. That means to test the skill levels of your programming logic and how much in depth you know about the technology. They will ask these kind of questions. They will even ask like, so in a HTML table, I have some data. You have to read the data and present it. That means you need to read that. And that means use notepad file as your data. Use HTML file, HTML table as your data. They will even say that use Excel file for your data. That means because you learned database, Oracle, MySQL and all this. Even if you are a Java developer, .NET developer, PHP developer, in many interviews, they will say that I have a file in Excel. That Excel file contains some data. You have to pull the data and show me in the application. Because majority of people have learned from pulling the data from database and using it, but they don't know how to deal with the data comes from a file. That is also important at different levels, which we will discuss in our server-side technology. So we will learn how to handle both data coming from a file and data coming from a database. Understood? We will discuss about both the techniques, how we can manage data coming from file and database. That is very important. At different levels, we need that. So many databases are there. So many databases are there. And we are going to deal with MongoDB as a database. And what is MongoDB? How MongoDB is different from other databases? What are its features, drawbacks, and everything we will discuss step by step now. That we will see in our next session, right? So from the next session, we are going to start working with database, installing MongoDB, setting up environment for MongoDB, and we will learn all the database from basic to advanced level, everything. And once we are perfect with the database, then we will learn server-side technology. Node.js we will discuss. First, MongoDB as a database, we have to learn how to create data for our application. So that we will see in our next session, right? And next session, again, from tomorrow we have holidays for Pongal. And the next session we will continue on Monday. That means next session will be on 18th, right? So from tomorrow it's holidays until Sunday. And our next session will be on Monday, okay? From Monday, we will start MongoDB, right? Database.